This video is going to be super helpful for those of you who deal with shin splints. I have dealt with shin splints. I haven't had them for years, but there was this period of time where I had them for a good couple of months. And here's some of the things I've done to be able to come back from those, to prevent them in the future, and just overall improve my running, because I think that's what this is about for people. I just got a comment today of someone asking about getting shin splints in the middle of a little marathon training block, trying to keep their cardio up and having these shin splints. So he's wondering, I think it was James, yeah, James, unless there's a female James out there. He was asking about how, like, what exercises or stretching to do, and he has high arches and not very good ankle mobility. So I'm just going to get straight to it. I have a couple points on shin splints, and here, at the end of the day, it may be something unrelated to what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking from my experience and what I did. I got shin splints because I started running about 40 miles a week. Wasn't very trained for it, but I was just doing a little challenge of, like, if you're familiar with the One Punch Man workout, it's the 10K every day, 100 push-ups every day, 100 squats, and 100 sit-ups every day. And so I was doing it 5 days a week throughout the weekdays. Just putting me around 40 miles a week, plus all the other exercising I was doing. And I eventually got shin splints and had to take a couple months off. And so, one, I didn't build up properly. Like, I just jumped to 40 miles a week, which I think was too much and unreasonable for where I'm at, or at least where I was at the time. So that might be one point, is maybe you increase your volume too fast and you're not quite ready for how much you're doing. Maybe that's not the case, but I like the rule of increasing to 10% every week. So if you ran 5 miles, you'd only run 5.5 the next week, and then you just do that over time. Now, you're in the middle of a training block, so maybe you just need to reduce your volume. But the other point is keeping your cardio going. And I think the elliptical and biking helps a lot, because at least what I hear from most people with shin splints, they don't feel it as much when they bike, and they don't feel it as much on an elliptical. And an elliptical is just like such low impact that I think if you do that, you can get one online for like $100, or if you go to any gym, typically they all have ellipticals. So I think that's a really good way to keep your cardio up right now, especially if you're dealing with this injury. And now let's talk about the stretching and exercises to do that at least I did to help with shin splints, and I haven't had shin splints for years now. What's a regular part of my training is what I call tibialis curls. I do this on my leg day. Currently, I lift 3 days a week, but if I'm lifting more because I'm in a strength block, I'm still doing this pretty much every leg day. So what I do is a superset where I do tibialis curls, and then, or I kind of switch it. I guess it doesn't really matter. But what I do is I do like calf raises, and then I do tibialis curls immediately right after that. And so hopefully you know what calf raises are. I do them on the leg press machine. That way I'm seated and I can push off a little bit, opposed to like body weight calf raises. It's just something I prefer. And then tibialis curls. So let's describe this. The tibialis curl is basically like a bicep curl, right? Just a curl, but with your tibialis, or your shin muscle is what it's also known as. So this is my shin, or the tibialis. Here's my ankle where the watch is, and then here's my foot and toes. I hook a kettlebell around my toes. It takes a little bit of balance. I'm sitting on a box but hanging my calves off of something, and I'm just curling, right? So you're using the shin muscle, and you don't have to do a lot, and you don't need a lot of weight. So please don't let your ego get in the way. I think it's something that you just go easy with and be controlled with. I mean, you should do that with lifting anyways, but especially with something like this, and especially if you don't have good ankle mobility. This is working that tibialis muscle, which is where a lot of people feel shin splints. So hopefully you're strengthening that. And then you're also working on ankle strength and mobility, because it's just your ankle moving and that flexion with the shin muscle. So I do about 4 sets. I do currently a 12-pound kettlebell, and I'm doing like 10 to 20 reps, something like that. So you might do like a 12-pound, 10-pound, maybe a 5-pound kettlebell. I'd go lighter than you think you should, just so you can get the control and be gentle and easy on your body in a productive way. And so, yeah, that's one of the big things I do. And when you think about it, it's stretching and strength training at the same time, because the weight is pulling down the ankle, and then you curl up. And if my explanation doesn't help, you can Google it. I just Googled it. There's so many demonstrations and variations for it. I told you mine. But I think that's a big thing that's helped me avoid shin splints, runner's knee. You can also do it with like a 2.5 pound plate where you kind of like hook it around or a 5 pound plate. You hook it around your big toe and you do the same type of thing. So hopefully that helps you as far as some strength and stretching to do. I'm always going to be a fan of quad stretches. So where you grab your ankle and pull it into your butt, or you like sit on your ankles type of thing. I'm always going to think those are really good for your body in general. And hey, maybe your quad's too tight, so it's pulling on your knee, which is pulling on your shin muscle. Who knows? Like, these can be caused for several different reasons, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's the end of the world and you're never going to be able to run. I hate that. We just have to look at the root cause of this type of injury. And in my opinion, shin splints is not necessarily an overuse injury, but like a lack of strength or a lack of mobility injury. And I think there's a very big difference between the two. Sure, you could do too much training and get shin splints, but my point is you're strong enough. And when you say overtraining, it kind of infers that you shouldn't be running that much. And yeah, maybe you shouldn't be running that much at that time, but that doesn't mean you never can. Like, that's the point I'm trying to make is, yes, you might get these injuries, but it shows you that you're not strong enough or you don't have enough flexibility in some degree. Or maybe you need to increase your volume slower. But at the end of the day, you can do it. Just fix the root problem. So hopefully that helps as far as like trying to maintain cardio and working on shin splints. I think that's the main stretch and exercise. Sure, I do calf exercises. I think you should work out your legs in general. But specifically for shin splints, that's what I've done to now be able to avoid it. I guess the last thing I should say, and then on the video, is I also really am a big believer in barefoot shoes. I've made videos on this. There's plenty of videos out there. There's like 30 something or whatever. There's a ton of muscles in the feet. And when we're in these shoes that are super supported, it's like this cast that if you had your arm in a cast for 20 years, it'd be atrophied. And so I believe it's the same thing with her feet. And with high arches, I mean, I don't know enough about that kind of thing. I just believe that we were made to be able to use those muscles, and it might be kind of uncomfortable. But if you started walking around in barefoot shoes, or maybe not running right now in barefoot shoes, but just walking in them full time, it might hurt for a little bit. You'll be sore, but that's just because you're developing the muscles. And I really do believe that's a big part of why I'm so healthy, and I'll just preach that for forever. So consider doing some research and looking into barefoot shoes and seeing if that's something that'll be beneficial, because if you fix your foundation where there's all these muscles, by a domino effect, the rest of your body is going to feel better. And I've heard of people wearing barefoot shoes, and what it does is it gets rid of their back pain. Like, the body's so connected. So hopefully that helps you as you look into some more of this stuff and trying to figure out how to avoid shin splints. Good luck to you. I don't want you to have to deal with that. So hopefully this gives you some things to work on, and I'd love to hear if it ends up helping over enough time. I'd say keep doing your cardio and stretching and strength work, and it's a learning lesson. So good luck, man. If you like running content, my name is Reese. This channel is just about running in general, helping people learn from my mistakes. Hopefully I can help you PR or just deepen your connection with running. Running quite literally saved my life, and I have a hard time saying this, but it is probably the most important thing to me. Like, family's more important, but as far as what I need in life, I need running. And so I love it that much. So if you can learn something from this, that's the goal. And I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.